AI changes everything in the next 3 years. Andrew Anderson, and today it's Cigar Sunday, although you maybe see this video on Tuesday or Wednesday, as I do most of them on Sunday when I'm chillaxing here a little bit. So I want to dive into this podcast, blogcast, whatever you want to call it, in that the people that are starting to get into AI now, and there's still only maybe 5 or 10% that are doing it. Um, in 3 years, everything changes. I think 60 to 70 to 80% and maybe 90% of all admin jobs are gone. I think that a lot of the accountancy work is going to be done automatically. There's no reason why 90% of it or 95% of it right now, with the automations that I know of, can't be done. Literally, what used to take an accountant a week, we could get done literally in 15 minutes now, or even updated all the time. There's some of the bigger companies are starting to get into it, but you can do your own automations right now that could do most of that. Same thing with a lot of legal work, um, in that they've got the index for every legal case there is. But where I think that those individuals who are accountants, who are attorneys, who are consultants, what's going to happen is AI is going to take care of 95 to 98% of all of the admin, all the grunt work that doesn't really get you the interface. And I think that the people that are going to shine and the businesses, I already see this, they're going to shine. So they're going to take that 50, 60% of the time that they used to doing grunt work that really didn't have any interfaces with the client, that didn't really move the needle forward. And they're going to have enough time to do that. Sorry, big bird just flew over. Um, they're going to have more time to do that. And what's going to happen is, I think there's going to reach a point too within the next 3 to 5 years where there's a tipping point where people don't want to deal with AIs. They want to deal with the real human individual. And this is where it's very, very important to come up with your own brand. Okay. People want to know who you are. And I know there's a lot of coaches and consultants out there that say, well, you can't scale that. Well, actually, you can. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but you need to put human beings in front of that interface. And so the intelligence is going to be available. Intelligent answers are going to be available to the average person from a entity that's 10 times smarter than them, or even 3 or 4 or 5 times smarter than any human ever was able to do. So answering questions is not going to be the key. Putting together pieces of disparate puzzles and figuring out non-linear answers and having an emotional connection with your clients is where people are going to shine. And I think that if you can do that, if you can get your brand out there, now that's why I'm back into doing videos after 6 or 7 or 8 years off. And you need to connect with the individuals that you want to help. And we've been doing a ton of programming. We got a software patent and all that's great and fine and dandy. That is not going to be what drives things going forward. It's going to be mano-a-mano connections with your individual clients. And if you're a higher end, if you've got a higher end service, that's going to even work better, because you can connect with those individuals. You can discuss them. And I've had mastermind groups. The one I had last year, or this was the year before. I charge anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 to maybe $10,000 per individual to do this for a day or two. And I have my best interactions. We have the biggest transformations when it's usually a small group, 12 or less. It seems to be the magic number, right around a dozen. So that there's two things that happen when you do that. One, most of those individuals, if they're coming in on the same level, whether they're $1 million business, a $5 million business, a $10 million business, and the monetary gross isn't necessarily the only factor, but you have to be a certain type of individuals to scale up to, from $1 million to $5 million, from $5 million to 10 to 15 million, 15 million to 25 to 30 to 40, 50 million. And so, and those are also the individuals that understand that they'll probably get the biggest transformation if they change one thing. Because when you do that, if I can do a 10% or 20% or 30% increase on a $10 million business, they don't mind paying me $50 or $100 or $250,000, because I'm going to make them several $1 million in that time frame. Um, so that's what you kind of need to figure out, because having answers will be at the fingertips of the average individual anywhere in the world. As long as they have chat, and it's going to be a commodity, it's not going to be expensive. I mean, $20 right now for Chat GPT, $8 for Grok, and so getting questions to individual answers will be better than any time ever in history. But putting strings of questions and answers together to really make that transformation in the client, that's where you're going to make the money. And we're in some pretty chaotic times. You know, there's a lot of people got weirded out about tariffs, but I've been studying economics, Mrs., by the way, supply side for a long time. So nothing here's taking me by surprise. And all the henny penny stuff, ride this out for 6 months. You're going to see the best economy you've ever seen since 2016 to 2020. And it's going to be absolutely flipping amazing. I think the next 4 years are going to put the 80s to shade. And so don't worry about the economy. And it doesn't matter anyway, because there were more millionaires and more big companies made during low times and depressions than there are when it's good times. And I think what happens is, because the people that will venture forth out when the economy is kind of shaky, they have to be sharper. They have to be lean, mean, fighting machines to make money in the process. And so I think that's why those companies have thrived. Some of the biggest ones are actually in downturn. And we're coming out of, I don't care what anybody says, we were in a flipping recession for the past 4 years, with inflation going up 3, 4, 5, 10% a month sometimes. Food has doubled since 2020. A lot of other things are just through the roof. Real estate in Nashville, I think, depending on what location, since 2020, it's over doubled in some locations. So, and as things are getting more expensive, the dollar is shrinking in value, you know. So in 2020, well, in 1971, 72, gold was worth $32 an ounce. Now it's over $3,300. So the value of the dollar has shrank 100%. So a dime back then would buy almost as much stuff as $10 now in some cases. Not across the board, but it's pretty darn close. You used to be able to get a ice cream cone in 1972 for 7 cents to 10 cents. Okay. Now they're $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 in some cases. It's absolutely crazy. But back to AI. So here's where AI is going to come in and be your secret weapon. So if you can get, so you're using the prompts, you use the agents. The agents are the next level of anything I talked about now. But they can program so that they have every bit of knowledge base in your business, so that someone can either talk verbally or type in with the agent, and they will have every bit of information that you've ever written, every information about your company, your procedures. Doesn't matter if you're a plastic surgeon or a plumber or whatever. If you've got that documented, you can feed it into that agent, and it will know everything that you do. And I've seen this with a lot of consultants. You know, they want to, I guess the term is, it was Jason Moss, I think. Anyway, but it's a black box. Like, I'm never going to show exactly how I do my stuff, because then people will steal it and I won't do anything. Well, that's not the way to do it. If you want to build up your brand, and you want to do that, get everything you've got into an agent, and you charge $200 to $2,000 to $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and they have access to you. I've worked with some coaches that charge $250,000 to $300,000 a day, and they didn't want to do that, but they can take all of their agency stuff, still charge that much, $250,000 a day, and have people feel better, because if they do have a question, they can get them to answer it in the middle of the night. And I know a lot of consultants that are, let's say, just mediocre at the best. I wouldn't put them in the top tier. I wouldn't put them in the top 20%, but they've taken it. They put an agent together. They're charging $200 or $300 a month, or even in one case, I think she's charging $498, and she sold 2,000 of them. You do the math on that every month. That's every month. So there's a lot of opportunities here with AI. And I think that if you don't get it together in the next 3 years, 70-80% of all the admin stuff, a lot of the consulting, a lot of the things from taking one number or one word and putting it to another place or putting them together is going to be all automated through agents or AI. And this stuff is growing really quick. So if you're a local business doing, I don't care what, 500,000 to 20, 25 million, you can get ahead of the big guys because it's going to take them time to implement this stuff and figure this out. 3 years, I think game's over. All right. So you've got maybe the next 3 years. I'm a little bit more optimistic than that. I think it might only be 18 months, really. Well, I don't know if that's a optimistic or pessimistic. Optimistic for my clients because they already know this stuff and they're implementing AI. But if you can get AI involved, it'll give you back probably 80% of your time that you're spending on admin. And I'm not saying you fire your people. Here's the other thing a lot of people mistake. It's like, oh, we can do this automatically now, and we're going to let all these people go. I get part of that. But here's how you get a really longer crowbar, which is my other podcast called The Longer Crowbar. But if you train your people on it, you'll be able to expand maybe 4x, 5x, 10x, and you won't need more people. You could pay them 2 or 3 or 4 times the amount that they would normally get elsewhere. And I've seen companies that say, like $75,000 we got to make $75,000 profit per year to do it. I've seen companies that are lean and mean that they can, I've seen companies make $1.5 million to $2 million per employee. Okay. And that's a all profit, of course, but the gross coming in is, if you're running lean and mean, you can do it. And with AI, you definitely can. So, I know a lot of coaches out there that are doing a couple mil. They have 1 or 2 people. That's it, and I know a couple solo entrepreneurs that are doing 8 figures, solo entrepreneurs that are doing 8 figures because of AI right now. The opportunity is there. I hope you take advantage of it. I hope some of this makes sense. The best thing you can do right now is build your darn brand. People want to deal with humans. They don't care if AI is involved, but they want to see your mug. Whether you think it's ugly, attractive or not, it doesn't matter. They want to have a relationship. They know they want to be able to have someone that actually gives a shit about them and cares about them. That's a human. Okay. So, and right now, guess what? All that material out on the internet, I just heard a very smart guy tell me that 90% of it's all AI driven right now. It's your shot to put your mark on it. And that's why I'm not editing my videos anymore. I'm not taking out the ums, the ahs. I'm not doing the pauses or anything because I want people to know that it's me. I'm a real person. Anyway, Adrian Anderson signing off, and we'll talk to you soon, and I'll put the bumper in here, and it'll sound great. Oh, I do have a new front end and back end bumper that's coming in for this, so just to buff it up a little bit more professionally. So I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The AI advantage for local business. That's the name of the podcast that I'm doing right now, and the Longer Crowbar. I talk about both things in both of them, but the Longer Crowbar goes into health and wealth and more happiness, whereas the AI advantage for local business obviously is about AI. Although we have local businesses, we've got bigger businesses that are over $1 billion that we help. But the thing I like to see, because I can usually get the most movement out of them, is local businesses. I don't care if you're making 500,000 or 25 or even 30 or 40, $50 million. If you're local, if that's your base, and you probably have a national blueprint if you have that. But local businesses, small operations that don't have a huge budget, you can bring in AI, integrate it within your existing workforce. You're going to crush it because I see these big companies that they have 27 meetings it takes them to do it. And when I do training, what I like to have happen is you start using the training that day and you see increases in productivity. Typically, we can save anywhere from 400 to 4,000 man hours a year per business at a minimum. That's easily 400 to 4,000 man hours saved by doing AI, and it's better. It's quality's more, and it's integrated. So imagine what you could do with all that extra time, and you're not paying any more money out. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, Andrew Anderson signing off. Hope you have a profitable week. We're coming in golden age. Mark my words. Come on, the next 6 months, you're going to be amazed at what the economy is going to do. So that's it. Talk to you later, Andrew Anderson, signing off. And I've got the right little clicker here somewhere. See ya. This is not AI, but we talk about it and we use it. You should too. See ya.